Hello everyone, back to in today's second video doing GavsWeatherVids Sunday Round Up for today's second video. So this is the penultimate GavsWeatherVids Sunday Round Up. Once this was out of the way, I've got one more to do next week, and then Sunday Roundups will be stopping in favour of winter updates, because the things that we look at in the winter updates are pretty much the same things that we look at in the Sunday Roundup. So we'll just be repeating ourselves if we did both of them. So yes, this is the penultimate GavsWeatherVids Sunday Roundup for this year. Going to be your Sunday afternoon eclectic mix of this and that, looking at things like sea surface temperature, anomalies, activity, the QBO, the AO, the NEO, and much more, as well as the weather for the next week, 10 days as well, of course. The ninth and final autumn update was the first video released today. That's ahead of the autumn forecast being released next Sunday. So yes, autumn forecast next Sunday. And coming up later on, we're going to have the ENSO Metro France GWV long range update. It's a very busy day at GavsWeatherVids today. Tonight at 6 o'clock, we'll be live stream. We'll have a live stream at 6 o'clock, and we'll see how we're all doing on this Sunday evening. There will be winter 2020-21 data included in that one. Right, so I think I'm going to get on with the Sunday Roundup. It is Subscribe Sunday, so if you aren't yet subbed to the channel, then please make sure you are subscribed. Click all notifications. You'll be notified then on YouTube, by YouTube, when we are releasing videos and live streaming and everything else. And make sure you give us a thumbs up on videos where if you enjoy it, and don't forget to let us know in the comments what you think. Right, let's get on with it then. Going to start off with a few pictures that have been shared with us on our GavsWeatherVids Discord. So Adam Blunsdon shared this one on the 16th of August. Proper cloudy looking sky in the southwest of England. 2L8 shared this one, a little video showing, I think that looks like thunderclouds, so yeah, showing quite an intense shower passing over there. Moving on down, we can see that VXLKS shared this from Dublin. A few nice sunset pictures from Dublin were shared on our Discord by VXLKS. Navan Elja MVANGLDERO3 share this one. Cloudy sky. I'm not sure where that is, but it's somewhere in the UK. That was shared on the 16th of August as well. These are all related to the big storms we had last Sunday and Monday as well, I think. Another one from MVANGELDERO3 with a nice sort of sunny sky there. Wherever this person is. Weather Time Lapses Daily shared this one. Asked whether it was a shell cloud. What do you think? It's had a shell cloud? Let me know in the comments. Another one from Weather Time Lapses Daily. Very nice cumulus clouds there with a bit of blue sky as well. Right, so I've got a video here from Dylan Holbrook. Dylan had torrential rain, I think, torrential rain, where Dylan was back at the start of last week. Again, cumulus, or maybe nimbocumulus, or cumulonimbus, from Weather Time Lapses Daily. Another stormy looking sky from Dylan Holbrook. I know Dylan is down in Essex. Stormy looking sky where Dylan is. Severity, I think, in the Midlands, showing that one, looking pretty stormy as well. Right, Ryan 56 shared this one, saying drench. It looks like Ryan had a drenching up in Manchester. I think Ryan is up in Manchester and had a drenching. Storm coming my way. Alpha SB posted that one earlier on in the week as well. Stormy looking sky. I think SB is in the east, Lincolnshire, that sort of area. Another one from Dylan. There again, looking pretty stormy where Dylan was. Another one from SB again. Stormy looking sky where SB was in the east. It's been wild in Dublin, or it was wild in Dublin. VXLKS posted that. Nice rainbow from Adrian Major, good friend Adrian, down in Somerset area, I think, posted that nice rainbow picture. Another rainbow picture from Kieran Edmonds. So these showery conditions we've had certainly have provided some nice rainbows, haven't they? So another nice rainbow pic from Kieran Edmonds, and a very stormy looking sky there as well. The unknown Lucia, I think from Denmark, posted this one. Looking very stormy over there in Denmark. So yeah, wild weather in Denmark. More from Dublin. So again, looks pretty grim, or it did look pretty grim over in Dublin a couple of days ago. And then moving on down. So if you would like to, share your pictures on the GavsWeatherVids Discord, you can find a link to GavsWeatherVids Discord in the description with video at YouTube. Our good friend Shryan Bruin posted this away from Greystones Beach during high tide. I think that's on Friday. Very stormy day, of course, for Ireland and for the UK on Thursday, and also on Friday as well. Samuel Bentley sharing this one. So Samuel's little greenhouse got blown down in the gales on Friday as well, I think. So that's a little bit sorry for itself, isn't it? And Shryan, this one's from 2010, 3rd December 2010. Shryan posted this one, December to remember. Frozen snow-covered ground on the 3rd of December 2010. It's a decade this December since we had the December to remember, the coldest December in the Central England region since 1890. Again, big thanks to everybody for sharing their pictures. If you'd like to have your pictures featured in videos, you can email them to us at GavsWeatherVids@gmail.com. You can post them to the comment box at GavsWeatherVids.com. You can share them on the GavsWeatherVids Discord, and you can share with us on our social media, Facebook and Twitter accounts. When we have a bit of time, we're always very, very happy to share your picture. We have been setting aside the first 5-10 minutes of Sunday Roundup for your weather picks. Sunday Roundup stopping next week, of course, or from next week. So we'll have to find another video to use to show your pictures, but we will keep showing your weather pictures when we can. Big thank you to everybody for doing that. Right, this is how things are looking in terms of solar disk on our side of this today. From solarham.net, we've got a spotless solar disk today. There are no sunspots, so therefore solar activity is at very low levels and is expected to remain at very low levels for the next 3 days. This is the GavsWeatherVids Solar Activity Tracker, updated by good friend James Acril up to today, 23rd of August. So the orange line here is depicting each individual day's worth of sunspot activity. Have been for a little bit more activity over the past month or so. Right now, though, we are spotless on the solar disk. There are no sunspots, so therefore the orange line has dropped down to the floor of the chart. What activity we have had has been enough to lift our trend lines, the thick green and thick red lines up. They have lifted up a little bit. They stopped rising though, actually, so it looks like they're beginning to flatten off. And of course, if we start getting several days without sunspots, we will see the trend lines beginning to move downwards again. We're just beginning to move out as solar minimum now, I think, but solar activity at very low levels and will remain at very low levels for the time being. This is sent through by good friend Richard Short. This sort of, again, tells us that we are past solar minimum. So, I think. So, it's showing the showing spotless days and the current spotless stretch. So, we've had 2 days without sunspots on the current stretch. We've had 159 days of the year, which is 67% of the year without sunspots. But it compares to last year at 77% of the year but didn't have sunspots. So I think that does confirm now increasingly, but 2019 was probably the solar minimum year for solar cycle 2024, and I think it's telling us increasingly that 2020 is like the first year of solar cycle number 25. A big thank you to James and to Richard for sending through that data. This is how sea surface temperature anomalies were looking in the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans. We did last week's GavsWeatherVids Sunday Round Up. I am now able to start showing me comparisons week by week once again. So we've got our 3 areas of interest. This is from the 15th of August. From now, we've got our 3 areas of interest. We've got the ENSO region just here. We've got the Northern Pacific up here. We've got the North Atlantic over there. That's that's how things were looking in terms of the oceans when we did last week's GavsWeatherVids Sunday Round Up. This is the latest. So dealing with the ENSO region. First of all, we have seen further cooling of the ENSO region. We are increasingly moving into a La Niña signature, albeit it's a weak La Niña, but we are moving increasingly into a La Niña signature, and we can see, comparing again to last week, but the sea surface temperature anomalies have continued to cool down through the equatorial Pacific Ocean over the past week, quite significantly so, actually, especially in this sort of central area through here. That's quite a significant change from last week to this week. So yes, La Niña continues to develop. Further north in the northern Pacific Ocean, it remains quite warm. That's how things looked in the northern Pacific last week. That's how things look this week. Again, generally quite warm up here in the northern Pacific Ocean, with a La Niña developing in the equatorial Pacific Ocean. That's going to be like the starting point, I think, in terms of the Pacific for our winter updates. Moving into the North Atlantic, again, we go back to last week. That's how things looked in the North Atlantic last week. This is how things looking this week. So generally warm in the Atlantic Ocean at the moment, particularly the northern part of the Atlantic Ocean, and like going up towards the western side of Greenland. Very, very warm up there, really significantly warmer than average. The tropics also are looking quite warm. So again, the tropical Atlantic looks primed for a big tropical storm and hurricane season. Gulf of Mexico, Caribbean, all looking warmer than average. The Norwegian Sea also looks pretty warm this year. So the Atlantic is going to be the starting point for winter updates. Will be that the Atlantic is in a warmer than average state. The Pacific, non-Pacific, is warmer than average, and we've got a developing La Niña. Right, so CFSV2 is continuing to forecast that La Niña will carry on developing. Weak to almost borderline moderate La Niña being forecast now by CFSV2. So our temperature anomalies are on the side, but dates in monthly periods are on the bottom here. So we are now at that all-important half a degree or more below average threshold that we need to be at to say that we are in a La Niña. We need to run that over 5 tri-monthly periods to get La Niña designated. I don't think if CFSV2 forecast is right, that's going to be a problem. So I think it's very, very likely that this autumn and winter 2020-21 will be La Niña. The question is, how strong will it get? So we've always been thinking like a weak La Niña is most likely. I still think that is most likely. The black dash line here, which is beyond summer mean from the CFSV2, is going down almost to 1.5 degrees below average, which is getting quite close towards a moderate La Niña. That's getting quite close towards a moderate La Niña. However, I suspect it's a little bit overdone, perhaps, and more likely is that this will continue to be quite a weak La Niña. So weak to possibly borderline. Moderate La Niña is like what I think we're going to have through the rest of this year and into the winter. Southern Oscillation Index looks like this. Remember, it's just an index that's reflecting the atmospheric state, measuring air pressures between Darwin and Tahiti. So when the SOI is in its negative phase, the atmospheric setup will be reflective of an El Nino. When the SOI is in its positive phase, the atmospheric setup will be reflective of La Niña. So you would expect positivity of the SOI, given that the equatorial Pacific Ocean is moving into increasingly into a La Niña. That's what we've seen over the past few weeks as well. So we have seen positivity of the SOI in the past few days also. 18th of August coming out at plus 10, 19th of August coming out at plus 28, very positive, 20th of August coming out at plus 26.40, 21st of August 23.79, 22nd, 23rd at plus 9.53 for both days. It does look as though the SOI, that tells us that the atmosphere really has moved into a definitively positive state, really, which will help to develop the La Niña further. We can see from the SOI 30-day average, which is this red line, that has gone positive now. So yeah, we're positive with the SOI 30-day average and the 90-day average, which is this yellow line just here, this yellow dash line. That's beginning to lift up as well. That doesn't move as much because it's sort of like a 3-monthly average rather than a 30-day average. So that doesn't move as much, but it is moving a little bit now. That's beginning to move into positivity. Everything is telling us that La Niña is here, and we're going to continue to see this La Niña develop through towards the end of the year. So weak to possibly borderline moderate La Niña looks like it'll be the base state for winter updates. We'll be telling you much more about that in the coming weeks, of course. Excuse me. Right, this is what's going on in terms of these tropical storms then. So it's kind of related to the sea surface temperatures, I suppose. We've got two tropical storms. We have got Tropical Storm Marco just there, and we've got Tropical Storm Laura just there. Let's have a look and see what National Hurricane Center is saying about Marco. So Tropical Storm Marco is currently giving maximum sustained winds of 75 miles per hour. Let's go 5 miles an hour more to become a Category 1 hurricane there, with a minimum sense pressure of 994 millibars, moving north-northwestwards at 13 miles per hour. Let's click on Marco and see what's going to happen. So here we go. So yeah, it's very close. It's only got to go 5 miles an hour more, maximum sustained, to become a Category 1 hurricane. And also it's going to do that like sometime today. So it's going to become Hurricane Marco today, Category 1 Hurricane Marco. And this hurricane is going to move northwards through the Gulf of Mexico, and it's going to slam into the Gulf Coast sometime sort of tomorrow or on Tuesday. It's moving quite quickly, this one. Slamming into the Gulf Coast somewhere between Louisiana, the state of Louisiana, and the state of Texas. Texas just there, Louisiana just there. Of course, so it could be anywhere in this sort of cone area just here. So yeah, that's going to be a big impact over like the first part of this week. And then of course we've got Laura. So let's go back. We've got Tropical Storm Laura as well. There is Tropical Storm Laura currently in the Caribbean. Let's click on Laura. So let's go back very quickly. So Laura is giving maximum sustained winds of 45 miles per hour, nowhere near as strong as Marco at the moment. 45 miles per hour with a minimum sense pressure of 1,005 millibars, moving west-northwestwards at 18 miles per hour. Let's see what Laura is forecast to do. So if we go to wind warnings, there we go. So Laura is also being forecast to become a hurricane, but much slower than Marco. So that's the current position of Laura just there. Laura is going to move through the Caribbean as a tropical storm and heading to the Gulf of Mexico around the middle part of the week. Remember, we've got to get Marco through first of all. So Marco will come through first. Laura will follow. By Wednesday, the National Hurricane Center is forecasting that Laura will be a hurricane, and then Laura also slamming into the Gulf Coast as a Category 2 hurricane. Although it's developing more slowly, though Laura is developing more slowly, it is actually being upgraded in terms of the forecast from the National Hurricane Center. So now it's being forecast to be a Category 2 hurricane as it slams into the Gulf Coast at the end of the week, sometime around Thursday or Friday. Again, somewhere between Texas and Louisiana to possibly Mississippi. So yeah, very, very active week coming up for the Gulf Coast. Two big impacts from Marco and from Laura, just a few days apart. So all eyes will be on the Gulf Coast of the United States in the next few days. Right, where do we go now? So we go there. So yeah, that's right. So the QBO is looking like this: quasi-iberian oscillation. Remember, it's just an index that's reflecting the atmospheric state. This time it's measuring the strength of the zone of winds, basically. So when we're in the easterly QBO, the zone of winds are weakened. When we're in a westerly QBO, the zone of winds are strengthened. So this is more something for winter. When we're in an easterly QBO, we increase the chance of a colder winter. Don't guarantee it, of course, but we do increase the chance of a colder winter. In easterly QBO, westerly QBO, we sort of strengthen the zone of winds, and so we have a great chance of a milder winter. So we should have gone into an easterly QBO. We should be well and truly into an easterly QBO phase now. This blue-green area just here should have descended a little bit like that, and we should be right in the middle of what will be quite a strong easterly QBO phase now, such as we was back here in 2017 and 2018. This is the last westerly QBO just here. You see that actually the last westerly QBO never truly went away. This is like the tropospheric level just here, the level of tropospheric stratosphere at 30 HPA to 50 HPA just there. And you see that in the troposphere, the Wesley QBO never completely went away. We keep these raggedy, sandy coloured lines going, and then actually come back and strengthen over the past month or so. Let's zoom in and see how things are currently looking then. So we continue to be in this state that we've got Wesley QBO lingering on through the troposphere. This is like the top of the stratosphere up here. So up there, it does look as though we're possibly running out of Wesley QBO a little bit. Notice that we've got these sandy coloured lines just here. That's from around a month ago. So quite a bit of Westliness of the QBO in the top of the stratosphere. Is that starting to sort of wear away a little bit? Is that starting to wear out and possibly see the easterly QBO beginning to appear a little bit more in the stratospheric level? Maybe, possibly. But down in the troposphere, we just can't get rid of this westerly QBO. So it's a real mess. It continues to be a real mess. Nobody really knows where this is going. We could see the westerly QBO just get stronger. And so the coming winter is a westerly QBO winter. We might see the easterly QBO coming back, or we might just stay in this state. But we're neither westerly or easterly with the QBO, really. So it's a very, very complicated situation trying to figure out what is happening at the moment. But I do think right up in the stratosphere, at the top of the stratosphere, it looks as though that the westerly QBO has kind of worn away a little bit, and we might be starting to see the easterly QBO beginning to reappear slightly at the top of the stratosphere. Whether that would be the start of a descending of the easterly QBO down into the troposphere like that would remain to be seen. But right at the top of the stratosphere, I think we may be seeing a few signs that Wesley QBO has certainly weakened a little bit, and the easterly QBO might be starting to reappear ever so slightly right at the very top of the stratosphere. I want to show you this. This is from NOAA. So this is like showing snow cover across Eurasia. Now, of course, there's not going to be much to see because we're still in summer. But when we get into winter updates, we'll look at this every week because we will see the snow line advancing across Siberia and Russia. But you can see that right in the far eastern part of Russia, just here, we have got a little smattering of snow there, which is quite unusual. This is from the 22nd of August. Quite unusual to have a little smattering of snow over the far eastern, northeastern part of Siberia. So there it is, a little bit of snow there. That'll probably be gone when this updates later on this evening for today, I would have thought. But a few little snow flurries certainly appeared across northeastern parts of Siberia yesterday on Saturday. This yellow area is showing Arctic sea ice, so you can see it's been a bit of a big melt season. That's receded back quite well, that Arctic sea ice, and we've got quite a bit of sea opening up. That will refreeze, of course, as we get through into the autumn and into winter. Let's have a look at Arctic sea ice extent. This is from National Snow and Ice Data Centre. So again, last week I told you that we crossed over with this year and 2012, which is like the lowest minimum, record minimum Arctic sea ice extent year. So the blue line is this year, the red dash line, that is 2012. So that's where we currently are for Arctic sea ice extent at the moment. We are just above 2012. Still dropping there. We're going to carry on dropping for the next 2-3 weeks. We won't reach like the minimum extent until sometime in the first week or two of September. So there's still around another 2 to 3 weeks to go to see this blue line dropping further. Will it do something like that, or will it pass 2012? We shall see. But it's been another very big melt season. Definitely is, even if we don't beat 2012's record minimum for Arctic sea ice melt. It has been another really big melt season. Now this is from weatheriscool.com. You haven't seen this since last winter, so just to tell you that they have set this up now and ready for another season. So you'll be seeing this a lot when we get into winter updates as well. So this is depicting the strength of the zonal winds, essentially. So what I have to tell you is that this line just here is like the average for zonal winds at 10 HPA. That's in the stratosphere, of course. And when you've got a strong zone of wind, you have got, basically, you've got a strong zone polar vortex. And you can see from this red dashed line just here, but last winter, we did, dates are on the bottom of the chart, of course, last winter, we did have, on many occasions, a record-breakingly strong zone of wind. We know that we had the polar vortex of doom last winter, which powered the zone of westerlies, and you know, it gave us that very, very wet and also exceptionally mild and stormy winter that we had last year. So the polar vortex, kind of like the engine. For westerlies and for zonality. So through last winter, we had a record-breakingly strong zone of wind. Where we currently are is just here, so around average with zone of winds at the moment. It's very, very early in the season. We're only just beginning to see the polar vortex starting to begin to reform a little bit, but very early in the season. These blue lines just here from the CFSV2, though. So this is like September, this is October, this is November. These blue lines are like a forecast from before CFSV2 runs, and you can see that up to the end of November, generally CFSV2 is forecasting zone of winds to be weaker than average. A weaker than average zone of wind is being forecast by CFSV2 through this autumn. One or two of the CFSV2 members actually go for like a slight reversal of zone of winds in October and in November as well, which is quite unusual. We don't normally get a reversal of zone of winds in the autumn. That normally happens later on in the winter after a sudden stratospheric warming typically. So quite a weak zone of wind being forecast up to like the end of November. Of course, that doesn't tell us anything about winter, because we could then see it sort of powering up and doing something like that. That happened a little bit last winter, I think, last autumn and winter. But up to November anyway, CFSV2 is forecasting the zone of winds to be just a little bit weaker than average. So that's quite interesting. You'll be seeing a lot of that every week when we get into our winter updates from 6th of September, just 2 weeks away for those. Arctic oscillation observed and forecast is looking like this. So let's just scroll down. So the AO observed and forecast looks like that. So the black line shows we've been with the Arctic oscillation. Red lines at the end where GFS ensembles are forecasting Arctic oscillation to go. So when the Arctic oscillation, it's just an index that's reflecting atmospheric state. So when the Arctic oscillation is negative, we've got high pressure blocking over the Arctic and the North Pole. When the AO is positive, we've got low pressure over the Arctic and over the North Pole. Generally through this summer, the AO has been neutral to actually slightly negative, especially through July and into August. That's where we currently are with the AO. We're like weekly negative. The GFS ensembles indicating that the AO is likely to go weekly positive and then drop away negative once again as we go into the end of August. Start of September might see the AO going a little bit positive once more. Not a huge amount going on with the AO. NAO observed and forecast looks like this. So around neutral with the NAO at the moment. Again, this is just measuring the atmospheric setup in the North Atlantic this time between the Azores and Iceland. So around neutral with the NAO right now. GFS ensembles forecasting that we're going to go negative with the NAO in the next week, and then possibly lift up towards positive as we go into September. So I think this is telling us that, like, with both of these indexes likely to be negative in the coming days, I think this is telling us that the rest of August is likely to be quite unsettled, possibly quite cool as well. We may be seeing signs with positivity of both the AO and the NAO in September. We may be seeing signs of the Azores high beginning to get its act together, perhaps a little bit as we get into September, which might bring us some drier and warmer weather then. We shall have to wait and see. Right, let's do some forecasting. So these are the GFS upper air temperature and precipitation ensembles for the next couple of weeks for London from Old West Central, looking at upper air temperatures. So generally quite cool actually from start to finish with this now. So that's 23rd of August just there. That's like the 8th of September just there. Generally, the GFS ensembles, especially for the rest of August, cooling off, becoming cooler than average. And even into like the first week of September, sort of no better than average to slightly cooler than average. So it does look like it's we've got quite a cool couple of weeks coming up, I have to say. Has summer gone? Has summer gone? That is the question. There are one or two very warm ensemble members appearing later on, but of course they're all very extended range and unreliable. So certainly for the rest of August, it looks pretty cool. Precipitation-wise, there's plenty of rain to come as well. We're going to be bringing low pressure off the Atlantic through times through the rest of August. So, yeah, plenty of precipitation spikes there. A little bit drier around the turn of the month. But then as we go through the first week of September, more rain coming up, which is a little bit unusual for September. Normally, particularly early September, tends to be an extension of summer more often than not. But this year, if that's right, looks like it's going to be quite cool and wet for the first week of September. Temperature anomalies from the 23rd to 31st of August, a little bit cooler than average now. So, yeah, the final week of mid-tropical summer looks like it's going to be a bit cooler than average. Precipitation anomalies from the 23rd of August to the 31st, generally wetter than average in most places. So, you notice it's very much dry than average across Iceland, though. That's indicative of some northern blocking, I would have thought, going on up towards Iceland. But for Ireland and for the UK, it looks generally wetter than normal. This is how the UK Met is looking for Wednesday. It's in midnight Wednesday. Absolutely atrocious. A deep area of low pressure at, I think, 990 millibars centred over top of the country. That's a dartboard. And it will be bringing lots of heavy rain and strong winds. Well, will be bringing lots of heavy rain and strong winds as well. That gets out of the way. Have a slightly quieter interlude for Thursday. But look, there's another low to the west of Ireland. Look what happens with that. That comes heading in at the end of this week. So Friday could be very wet across many parts of England and Wales and quite cool as well. That's as far as we go with the UK Met to Saturday. Low pressure just off the southeast of England, pulling in a very cool northeasterly wind. And there'd be a lot of dull, wet weather, particularly for England and Wales. That's bank holiday weekend, of course, next weekend for England and Wales. So that doesn't look very good for anyone who's going away for the bank holiday weekend. That looks very cool and wet, certainly to start the bank holiday weekend. This is how the GFS looks. So again, we've got this really deep area of low pressure moving in from Tuesday to Wednesday. It looks quite horrendous there. Very deep area of low pressure. I think that's going down to 985 millibars at the core of the low. So that's really, really deep for August. Very autumnal looking chart. Cool and wet. Very wet and also very windy with gale or even severe gale force winds around the middle part of the week. That gets out of the way. We've got another low, though, down towards Ireland as we go through to the end of the week. So that winds itself up. We do it all over again on Friday, Thursday to Friday. Very wet and windy once again. These are very autumnal-looking charts that we've got here for the next few days. Into bank holiday weekend, that low pressure gets out of the way to the east and they start building some higher pressure from the Atlantic. Winds are in from the north, though, so it's going to be quite cold as we go into bank holiday weekend. And as the winds fall out, we may actually start to see some ground frost, can you believe, overnight for the northern part of the country anyway. So we will dry out as we go into the bank holiday weekend, probably, at about ridge of high pressure. But the air will be cool, and as the wind drops out, I think we could start to see some very early ground frosts appearing over this coming weekend for the northern half of the country anyway. Heading up towards day 10, again, we're looking pretty unsettled, really, with low pressure never too far away. It's taking us into the start of September, of course. Through the first week of September, we just keep low pressure coming in off the Atlantic. So yeah, very unsettled, really, with the GFS for this first week of September. GM, again, deep low pressure over country on Wednesday. Lots of heavy rain, strong winds, more wet weather coming in for Thursday to Friday. Again, that's particularly focused on England and Wales into the weekend. Again, winds are in from the north, cool and showery, and it stays unsettled right way up to daytime with low pressure never too far away. And the ECM, again, very unsettled around the middle part of the week, wet and windy, most parts of the country, a little bit quieter for a while, but then by the end of the week, the next flow's back in, bringing more heavy rain to many parts of the country. Into bank holiday weekend, we do get a little bit of a ridge building. It's within cool air, so we could start to see some slight ground frost appearing overnight up in the north. And then inside of September, low pressure comes back. Here we go, low pressure is back in from off the Atlantic, and that looks like, I wonder if that's Laura, on the far left of the screen, you're looking at that low just there. That could be Hurricane Laura, or the remains of Hurricane Laura, moving into the middle of the North Atlantic. I haven't looked at like the Northern Hemisphere view this morning to see whether that is indeed Laura or not, but it could be. Might be some other storm that hasn't yet developed, but that might be Hurricane Laura, or the remains of Hurricane Laura, moving into the North Atlantic. But yeah, it looks like a very, very unsettled few days to come. This is a rainfall forecast based on that ECM run from Tibetio.com. So you're going to see lots of rain coming and going here. Here's the first deluge moving in on Tuesday. That really does give all of us a soaking, and very windy with that. That one gets out of the way, and in comes more heavy rain there through Thursday and into Friday as well. That more focused on England and Wales as well. So lots of wet weather coming in with that. Over bank holiday weekend, things do dry out a little bit for a while anyway, but more wet weather is coming in as we get towards day 10. So plenty of rain to come, and often feeling really quite autumnal. We can't show you the options on the table within the ECM ensembles for this video because they haven't updated at the Icelandic Metals yet. We will include those in our live stream from 6 o'clock this evening. CFS-V2 data finally, so these are 500 millibar heights broken down into week periods. The first week period will take us from the 23rd to the 9th of August. The coming week looks unsettled with low pressure in from off the Atlantic along with a westerly wind. Week 2 is the 30th of August, 5th of September. Just signs that the Azores are trying to ridge in a little bit then. Maybe he's turning things a little bit dry down in south-southwest. So this low pressure towards Greenland, Iceland is still the main driver, so still quite unsettled there. Week 3 is going to be the 6th to 12th of September. High pressure setting up over Scandinavia then, trying to turn the wind into the east. Probably still a bit unsettled, but I think there's probably still a chunk because there's another ridge over here. So we've got a ridge just there. We've got a ridge there, and I think in between we'll probably have a dip in the jet stream and lower pressure. So that's probably a little bit more unsettled than you might think looking at that. So probably still a bit unsettled there. But by the time we get through to week 4, which is the 13th to the 19th of August, we are under higher pressure then. Ridge is building in from the east, and that will be setting up a spell of drier weather for the middle part of September. However, the first week or two of September looking quite unsettled. Overall, CFS is forecasting September like this. So this is 700 millibar height anomaly from CFS for September. So showing a mid-Atlantic ridge, high pressure in the Atlantic, shallow trough of low pressure to our north-northeast. Winds are set up northwest to southeast. So yes, quite cool and quite unsettled really for September, if that is right. No particular signal for the precipitation anomaly. There's no particular signal there for the precipitation anomaly. And the temperature anomaly, again, no particular signal. I would expect quite a changeable month, though, based on that 700 millibar height anomaly, and probably quite a coolish month as well. Right, so just finally to say that if you've enjoyed the video, if you enjoy the content on the channel, then please can you make sure you are subscribed. Don't forget to tell your friends about the videos and the channel as well. And yeah, it'd be absolutely great if you do that. It is Subscribe Sunday, so click like and subscribe. Don't forget to tell your friends about GavsWeatherVids. Okay, so that's it for the penultimate GavsWeatherVids Sunday Round. Just one more of these to do next Sunday, and then we will be stopping them. No more Sunday Roundups for the rest of the year after next week. We have got one final one to do next Sunday, and then of course we are into winter updates I've been saying on and off through the video. We'll be back later on with the ECMDF Metro France GWV seasonal update. They're going to be live streaming from 6 o'clock, and we will have a look at winter 2020-21 data in the live stream as well. So you have yourself a great rest of Sunday afternoon, and I shall see you live at 6 o'clock on YouTube and across all GavsWeatherVids platforms. That's all for now, and thanks for watching.